Hey, what's going on, guys? Long time no see. What do you know? Another pretty large period in between my last video, but I have good news. I am back with another video, maybe even a series of videos, because I have started the prep on my car to get vinyl wrapped. By yours truly. What? You can vinyl wrap? Not confirmed, but I have a good understanding on how it works. I've wrapped my hood scoop, and yeah, that's it. That's all the experience I need. So I started with the power washing. Power washed pretty much all the flaking clear coat off of the car. That way it just gets most of the bulk out of the way before I come in with sandpaper. So I started on my hood and I started going to town on it. I was skeptical to start sanding on the paint. I really was. So I started with 1500 grit sandpaper, wet sanding, and you know, it did seem to work eventually, but I was just putting in way too much effort. So I bumped up the grit to, what'd I go to? I think I went to 800 grit sandpaper. That was doing it for me pretty well, you know, pretty quick. It was cutting through the layers and getting down, making everything smooth. You know, there was an even quicker way, and I actually started going to 400 grit. So 400 grit, you know, started to work out pretty good as well. What I found worked the fastest and most effective was my 180 grit sandpaper. You could just go in dry, just hit it, 180 grit sandpaper, get it down to where you want it, get it smooth, and then you come back and finish it with 400 grit wet sand. That's what seemed to work with me, but you know, in your case, you might find something else that works better. It all depends on the car, the paint condition, and the level of skill, which mine is 0. Just gonna start on this area now with my 180 grit. I'm just gonna start dry sanding it until I feel it smooth, and then I'm gonna go over it with maybe 400 grit and do a wet sand on it. That'll give it a nice smooth finish. .180 is pretty aggressive, but it really does cut down to the primer pretty quick. Cuts down any significant dips or chips in the paint. I mean, it would take you, you know, twice as long to do it with 400 grit. This will cut your time in half. Remember, I've never done this before. I'm all in. There's no turning back now. So that's pretty much it. That's how you sand down your rough spiderweb looking areas. That's just one little small piece. You kind of just have to focus on one spot and just move in small areas. That way you don't really miss anything. So yeah, pretty long, boring, drawn out process. But it must be done. I just got done sanding some more for today, but I mainly was working on the front quarter panel here, the front fender, getting all this cracking and dents kind of sanded somewhat smooth. A little bit of spider webbing there. So yeah, it's actually turning out pretty good considering how it looked before I started sanding. It's smooth to the touch, so I doubt it'll show through. Kind of sanded right around the edges here. And pretty much just going around touching up spots. I found another little line on the roof here. Right there, I was kind of sanding it down. Now it's smooth to the touch, so yeah, we are one step closer. The next step is to actually go around and spray the exposed areas, either rusted or just solid metal, like this one. This spot's got a little bit of rust and some solid metal there, along with this spot too. So I'm going to spray some primer or figure out what's the best thing to spray on the exposed areas. I'm also going to remove my wing and figure out how to stuff those holes, that way they don't show through. I don't know if I'm going to Bondo over them or maybe put some plugs in them, Bondo over them, sand them. I'm not really sure yet, but the wing is definitely going. Time to get that spoiler off and reveal the damage underneath and see what I'm going to do about all the holes. Got the spoiler off, and yeah, there's a lot of damage under here. Here's a closer look at the damage underneath. The double-sided sticky tape kind of started to pull my paint off as well, but it's all good. We're gonna sand this area nice and smooth again. Figure out how to fill the holes. Yeah, I don't have any recommendations or ideas yet. What do I want to do with the holes? A little quick tip on how to get this adhesive off with ease. I'm just heating it up with my heat gun here. Get it pretty hot. And then you can go in. You can either use this or your fingernails. And it just kind of peels right off with the heat. Just found a sander that's probably been sitting over here for 10-20 years. It looks rather new, but I don't know. Never knew about it. Found some old, I think this is 180 grit sandpaper, and we're going to give it a shot. We're going to try to go over this area and see what it can do for me. Wow, it actually works pretty good. I was always scared of using one of these things, thinking I would do more damage than good. Can't really get into the grooves or tight areas with it though. It's mainly for long, flat surfaces. But this should be perfect for my trunk. Oh yeah, before I figured out I could just heat up that adhesive, I tried some WD-40 and then I tried some rubbing alcohol, but heating up was my my best option. Anyways, let's see what the old sander did for me. See, it broke it down pretty good compared to this side. See, so there's some pretty deep spots there. Well through the paint, well through the clear coat, down to the primer, and I'm not sure what this brownish, yellowish area is, because primer is supposed to be that color. I'm not 100% sure what that is. I came across some of these spots throughout sanding my car, so I mean, the area is smooth, it's just a different color, so I don't think I should worry. Yeah, I think it's going to save some time. For the most part, it gets the bulk of it cut down pretty quick. Turns out I was only using 220. Turns out I was only using 220 grit when I used the sander. So imagine if I used 180 like I should have been doing. I would have cut it down a lot quicker. But yeah, definitely a good tool to have. Very helpful.